from concept to reality. For more information on products, pricing, and more, please visit us on the web at fourwallsllc.com or call us at 856-650-6556.
All right. Back from commercial. All right, so we're still here with Marcus Lee. We're going to hear about his first business opportunity. So now now you said you graduated, you had that opportunity to go to Clark Atlanta. Now, a lot of people wouldn't turn that opportunity down. Not to go to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying?
Especially like around this time, like Atlanta was like honestly the place to be. I believe it still is. Like it's
just
always
overcrowded now, though.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Now I feel like it's a little bit of saturation going on,
sure.
but Atlanta definitely the place.
I was the place.
I was there mentally. It was just something, but like I feel like everything is strategically aligned.
Sure, absolutely.
That's what got me to this point.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, so then boom. So so you said you went into you were 18.5 when you went into that business venture. What was the first business?
So the first business, it was supposed to be like a club. Like some type of gathering for like the youth, because that's what I was doing right out of high school.
Okay.
So right out of high school, we were throwing parties. Like me, couple of friends from the neighborhood, we throwing parties, and like that's all we knew. Young guys. Like I said, like at certain years, all I got involved with was girls, partying, and clothes. The average teenage kid, that was me. So that's all I focused on. But in the back of my mind, I always knew I had to be successful and I wanted to make money. So I always tried to figure out the business to be something that I do every day. Like my motto is love what you do. Like I love everything that I do, you know. So it was originally supposed to be a club. So how it worked out is a small store, ice cream parlor, opened up in the city around like 2010. The owner actually owned it was like a duplex building. So one side was an ice cream parlor, the other side was vacant. So I used to walk by there every day like, look, this would be perfect for my club. Right. So I go home, sketch out an idea. Basically, this is my business plan. Like technically, I didn't know that was the term for it. Right. But I'm writing out a business plan, the layout. I'm waiting for this guy to come every day, waiting for him to pull up just to pitch him this idea. I pitch him the idea. He come back to me and is like, nah, that's too much of a liability. Wow. I don't want to take that risk. Right. So he was like, but I believe in you. I want to give you a job. And like I emphasize that, I want to give you a job. So that kind of went off in my head because like I said, I had the work ethic. I knew you had to work to make money, but nobody ever taught me about passive income, royalties and things like that. So now getting back to the business, I went back to the drawing board and was like, look, I'm in this small town. We like 45 minutes away from the closest mall, sneakers, or any type of resources. How about if I put that in my city? So my first business was called The Locker Room, which was like a sneaker store. Wow. It had clothes, it had hats, pretty much everything that'd be in a gym locker, So all the equipment, athletic apparel, everything. So we was getting new releases, all that. So I designed that from start to finish, from the colors of the store to drawing out the layout to the uniforms to the policy. So I basically taught myself how to be in retail sales. I didn't put up my own dough, and that's why the investor said, hey, I'm gonna give you a job. But if I would have known better, I would have said, nah, I need royalties. I need royalty. I need some type of joint venture, because this went on to be a franchise, so as a franchise opened up to 4 units and, all I had was a job.
Wow.
Wow.
So you had the idea. You come up with the concept,
right?
But the only issue, which is a big issue,
I had a job.
You had a job,
right?
I didn't have a business. You're right. You didn't have the upfront money.
Right. No, I didn't have anything. I was fresh out of high school. I didn't have nothing.
So do you feel like that man? And I don't want to disrespect that man, but do you feel like he kind of exploited you?
So looking back at it now, like I definitely feel like he knew more about business than I did
at the time.
And so using the word exploiting, I don't think so. Yeah, I think it would be harsh because like I willingly gave up the ideas. Now if it was,
but you didn't know though.
Right.
Now you willingly didn't know either that you were entitled. That you were going into a danger zone.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
And that was
he
the
knew.
thing.
He knew what he was
Right.
doing. So I mean, but I get it though. It's a little harsh.
And that's why I emphasize on, like, we don't just want a job. Like, yeah, the job gives us that security, it makes us money.
Sure.
But just imagine if I would have set up the right resources, I still could possibly be living off that today.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
so that happened. That was my first venture. You know, I
Wow.
actually did that for about 3 years until, you know, business started to slow up, and then unfortunately we had to start closing down stores, you know.
Okay.
And that pretty much ended in 2014, which actually kind of catapulted me to a few other ventures. At the same time, I was doing music,
Okay.
you know, so I had the party still going on.
Now you were producing, because we've had some conversations about
Yeah.
that before. So you had like a little label or something, or,
Yeah.
or okay.
Yep, the entire
Talk to us about that a
music,
little bit.
the music group. So that actually was going on simultaneously with the locker room,
Okay.
with the sneaker store. So like I always juggle multiple things. Like Gary Vee said, rather have like 10 eggs in
Sure.
one basket. You drop 6 of them, now
Still got
4
four,
still
right.
gonna hatch. You know,
Right.
so and that was my thing. So I was, you know, juggling the music. I had basically I always see myself as an engineer, owner / manager when it came to music, and I just tried to figure out a strategy of the artists that I was representing, how to put them on the biggest level, knowing that we was in the smallest town. So that's where I tapped into abilities of like saying, hey, let's go back to the parties. Our parties are going to be our concerts because everybody that comes
No
to the
doubt.
party going to see us perform now.
Right.
So
Right.
I was just doing that. So we threw about 30 events, like pretty much all of them was sold out. 400 or 500 people come in at a time, you know, as well
wow.
as, you know, recorded and engineered about 1,000 tracks. You know,
Okay.
I want to say it's about 10, 15 mixtapes that I helped produce.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know, just
What type is just hip hop strictly, or you had like various artists, or you had like one particular artist in mind, or a group or something like that?
Yeah, so I had all individual artists
Okay.
pretty much like quote unquote signed underneath my label. You
Sure.
know, so at one point it was around 6 artists at one time.
Okay.
And it was everything from hip hop to R&B, you know, so we was kind of given, you know, multi genres of music and,
Okay.
you know, just really like engaging with the people. That was called
Right.
EFS. That's actually what I'm wearing today.
Okay.
EFS stands for 856,
Okay.
you know, and
Okay.
so that's kind of what we had, and we just started to just represent our people. We started with the
Yeah,
clothes
yeah,
and
that's-
stuff.
I just caught it. I'm sorry. I'm
Right,
slow
right.
sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Nah,
856.
so like
That's dope.
I
Okay.
rock it, like I still rock it to this day.
It's
So
actually
like we
dope.
started
It's
off
really
with
dope, though.
with merch and all
Yeah,
that too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like I just never really forgot where I came from. So that's why I wanted to kind of put it in my business
Okay.
and say like, look, we gonna remember this forever. And I figured like with all of us coming together under something that we came from,
Sure.
it would keep us together. But like not everything works out, you know.
Now let's talk about that.
Right.
You know, let's just talk about it a little bit, because it's like sometimes you form like Wu-Tang, but then sometimes Wu-Tang can break up.
Right, and you just
It's
gotta
just,
be
it's just
aware.
life, though.
Right,
It's
right.
just life.
That's what
So
happened.
so now everybody that was part of that EFS or whatever, are y'all still in cohesion, you know, now, or some maybe, some not, some kind of went off in different directions, XYZ?
Yeah, so I would say it's all cordial conversation. Like none of us really hang out as much as we did. Like I can remember during the beginning stages of EFS, the movement, you know, we would practically live together. Like I would be living off of a locker room paycheck, you know, because I had a
Yeah,
job,
job,
you know,
right.
so I get that little paycheck.
He didn't spoil you, though. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I would get that paycheck, and all I would do is, you know, pack up my book bag, and we'll find a place to record, and we'll be recording for 12 hours out of the day.
Oh, wow.
So, like,
Okay.
that's what really brought us together. But now, like, we all on, like, speaking terms and everything.
Okay.
You know, everybody kind of went their
Separate
different way and
Okay.
everything, which is, you know, respectable for me because, like, I feel like, hey, that got me to the level that I'm
Sure.
at today. So it's
Sure.
all it's all in line. It's all the
Sure.
steps that I had to kind of go through.
It's funny because at the time, like, you know, and we all sometimes, you know, when you have movements, like one thing I'm noticing, and you notice this in business, okay, that, you know, some people that you start out with, it's good.
Right.
But then, and one thing I'm learning is that sometimes people, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, sometimes people turn,
Right.
and you don't know they turn.
Mm-hmm. Or they could have already been turned.
And you just didn't understand it, right?
That
You
was
just
the thing.
naive too. You know what I'm saying? So those are those are things in business. Particularly, I know I feel like I've experienced that in some way, shape, or form. But I know, like, in business, they always say this thing called business never personal.
Right.
And I always disagree with that. I always think that business can get very, very personal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes, I'm left, when doing business, I'm left discouraged and disheartened more than I've been from a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not sure if, did you have that experience as well, like with the EFS and stuff like that, or that just was like something that kind of ran its course?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say, or?
That was actually kind of like part of like the destruction, basically, was just like the lack of loyalty, basically, like
right.
Knowing that it's business, knowing that it should be some type of personal connection because we trying to get to another level, so we should respect, we should love one another, like
right.
just in business, whether it's a music group or friendship or whatever.
Right.
So I do feel like that's what kind of tore us down, because it was like everybody wanted to be the boss now. Everybody wanted to, start their own little thing. Everybody. Right. So when you get to that point, you miss what even got us to the point to say, hey, that's an option now.
That's an option.
Absolutely. Right. You
missed
that.
You forgot what got you.
Right. What even got us there.
Right.
So that's the main thing. Like, I feel like, but that's everything. So like years ago, I would take it personal. I would be like, dang, I need this friend. I need this person. Right. But like I say, everybody in your life for a reason or a season.
For a reason or a season. You're right about that.
So like I'm cool. I'm cool. Like, if you want to go your way, like, cause all I can do is do what's best for us. Right. But at the end of the day, I only can care about what's best for me. So if you want to go and do whatever you want to do.
It's disheartening though, because and these type of things, and we were talking on the sports show about character.
Right.
Like it's not in my character to be malicious or greedy or what I call it self-grandizing, I think, or something like that, but self-grandizing, you know what I'm saying? And it's not in my character to do that. So where I'm often naive is I don't think that anybody else is doing that either, because why would you want to do that? Why would you want to be...
There's nothing that you get out of that.
Like, what do you get out of that? Like, you lose doing that. So why would you want to be that way, right? But oftentimes I'm misled. And that's what leaves me kind of like a little discouraged, a little uncomfortable, because you find out people's motives, and that could be very discouraging. Right. It's very discouraging. Very discouraging.
It took me a long time to even, just understand that, and but like, I agree, like, it can definitely be discouraging because you feel like that, like, you need to be accepted, or like why would you do that, to
why?
me?
Like, yeah, right, exactly.
Knowing that I'm trying to give you, 100% good energy from me, so. Right. But like, at the end of the day, you can't really control people.
You can't. I'm learning at 44. Still, loyalty has an expiration date.
Right.
It has an expiration date.
And a lot of times, people, they're really in it for what they can gain. Like, what can they get out of it? Like, I seen a lot of people. Like, I probably had 100 contacts at one point of like people calling and texting. Like, and then once I kind of cut that off, like, I went to like maybe one person reaching out to me. So like, you can kind of see, like, not everybody is in it to win it, everybody's in it to kind of get their own level of victory and, probably snake you along the way, but.
I just can't, I don't understand that. I mean, even to it, I'm probably going to transition to another topic, because I get very, very disgusted by people that have to act that way. I don't understand that. Like, if I don't like you or I don't deal with you, then you'll know that, because then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, let me just pretend.
Right. It's harder to fake it, though.
There's so much energy that's involved with that. Like, I don't understand
it. Just to not even deal with it.
Don't even deal with it. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. I'm like, yo, listen, like, I get quiet. And when I get quiet, that usually means that I'm uncomfortable about some things. I'm pondering. If I'm pondering, then most times I'm uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's unfortunate. All right, so EFS is done. Locker room's done. What was the next venture, and what year was that?
Right. So, So after I finished up with EFS, the locker room, basically just left to figure it out again. You know, like I said, I'm not really scared to fail. Like even at this point, I think I was only like 21 years old, you know, after everything was done, the EFS, the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
So now we about in 2014, I'm just like, all I knew was I want to start a business. I want to own a business, but I know I got to get a job. So I'm still not aware of this other lifestyle, this lifestyle of investing in passive income and real estate and stuff like that. So I went and filled out an application because all I knew still was addicted to clothing, sneakers and stuff like that. I filled out an application and got hired at Foot Locker. You know,
wow, okay.
So that was the first time me, like right out of high school, able to work, you know, for like a corporate company now. So like I'm on the main stage. Like I basically taught myself how to sell shoes at the locker room and get back to that right fast. So this was in my city, and we went to like 4 stores. The guy who actually put up the dough for the store, he actually told me one time, and it sticks with me every single day I think about, well, not like every day, but anytime I'm trying to get over something, I always think about, he said, you'll never be successful in sales because you're only comfortable with selling to your people. So at that point, I'm just like, maybe that's true. That's all I ever did was sell to the people that I knew. So once I stepped into Foot Locker, I knew that was untrue. I knew none of these people in here, and I actually became the best salesperson in the district.
So again, I'm sorry, I'm about to go back to your man. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I said I was being a little harsh, but I'm still back to like, yo, he was exploiting because see now not only you setting them up, you know what I'm saying, giving them the banana in the tailpipe, but then now you feeding them slow poison, slow ether. Like, yo, you'll never be a good salesperson. Right. Sell to your people, whatever. Now, so now you diminishing. You know what I'm saying? Like older people do that kind of stuff to younger people, man. No, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get older.
Just to keep us down, you know. So like
anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I went there. I started working. Actually became one of like the best in the district. You know, got a lot of accolades for that. Okay. They promoted me right up in like 2 months, right to a manager. Sure. So now I had the ability to run the store in Foot Locker. This was in Delaware now.
What more? Christiana?
So I started off in I call it the what they call it, 1AA. I was at Concord Mall.
Oh, you was up there on 202.
Yeah. So I'm at the small mall at first, but I'm just running it up. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm selling to people that I don't know, and just became the best. I really perfected my craft there. So I became a manager about 2 months after, you know, becoming an employee. After that, I had the opportunity to go up to the big leagues now. Okay. I ended up going and transitioning to Christiana Mall. Okay. You know, so they kind of did like a little trade, you know, like the NBA. Okay. They moved me to the bigger league, and I'm still as a manager, still running it up, getting recognition of being, you know, one of the best salespeople in the region at this time. So kind of still on the path of sales and selling. So after the Foot Locker, like I knew it wasn't really, it's a small ceiling in Foot Locker. Like even their store managers, they cap them out at like $40,000 a year.
Really? Oh wow.
Which is
it's
like
decent for up to a certain level.
Yeah, it's decent, but I knew that, hey,
I know wife and kids,
right?
You know what I mean, maybe one kid, but
I knew it wasn't gonna get me to the light that I desire or to the next level. So I wanted to make another transition. So I was thankful enough, still being into the mall industry. I met another guy, you know, here that wanted to give me more than just a job. So he was actually the first person to introduce me to like fractional shares. So fractional shares pretty much into a kiosk business. Like, hey, the kiosk costs X amount of dollars. If you invest X amount of dollars, you'll be X% owner. Sure. So he was giving me opportunity like that. So I jumped on it. This was the first time I, you know, heard of anything like that. I'm like, hey, this might be the one. Right. So I teamed up with this guy. We went from 2 locations to 8 locations.
What are you selling though?
So this was a sneaker vending machine, kiosk in the middle of the mall. Wow, so I came up with the slogan, you can either pay for it or play for it. It was $5, win a shoe. Okay. So I had those. We went from 2 locations to 8 locations once I got on board. Right. So we were everywhere from Delaware up into Florida. Wow. And I was just running it up, drawing crowds in, like using social media to advertise. Right. People was coming out. And that was like really the birth of like the resale game. Okay. So doing that, still kind of tapped into sneakers and everything. Like I said, that's all I really knew. So at this time of me doing all of this stuff and making money, I was spending money at the same time. All I wanted to do was buy the same shoes that I was selling.
Right.
You know, so I was getting high on my own supply.
Right.
You know, so I was doing it wrong.
But that's something that, you know, my father, he used to always say, he said, son, you know, and it's the same way I'm sure my son feels like when I talk to him, like, shut up, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause nobody want to hear it. Like, you young, you don't want to hear nothing like that. But he used to tell me, you don't want to be a consumer. And I kept saying, like, you know, what's a consumer? In New York, we had a store called Consumers. So I'm thinking he talking something like, I don't know what he talking about. But he said, you don't want to be a consumer. And I said, what does that mean? He said, you don't want to be able to get money and make money and then blow all the money you just made.
Yeah,
like, everybody go out here, like, there was a thing, and he taught us, like, we couldn't, like, I always am, I don't want to say envious, but I'll say that I'm always intrigued by individuals that have dreads. Right? And why I am is because my father wouldn't let us have them.
Nah, my mom wouldn't either.
Oh, okay.
It took me to be an
adult. Okay.
Every time I wanted to grow them, like,
nope.
we're going to the hair.
Nope,
We're going to get a haircut
that's
right
it.
there.
Yep.
I was like, no.
We couldn't have these things back in the day. They were called fat laces. We couldn't have them either. We couldn't have nothing. It's like he wanted to make us in a certain image, and I understood it to a certain extent. But then he also said that, you know, when you get older, then you can make your own image, but don't be a consumer.
Right.
And I said, okay, you know, I got that. So you would, like you said, so to speak, you were getting high off your own supply.
Yeah, that's all I knew.
So you just getting money,
spending
money.
The same, like the same.
Okay.
Within the same 5-10 minutes, like I would sell a shoe at the kiosk for $2,500, a pair of Yeezys or something, and then I would walk right upstairs. This is like King of Prussia Mall now. I would walk right to the Louis Vuitton store and cash out. Go get the hat that I'm wearing today. Go get the belt. You know, so, and like I'm just like, I guess it was for perception, but I'm like, what am I doing all this for? When I should really be saving and trying to make the next transition of saying, hey, let's go from 8 to 16. Let's go from 16 to 32 kiosks.
Right.
So,
but perception is You know what? Perception is everything to a lot of people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people look at your image and people see you and they make a judgment.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've been judged. They look at me and they be like, oh man, who's this dude? He don't know. He like a bum. He do wear jogging pants and be the same ones all the time, blah, blah. But never even knowing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What I got in the background. But that's what people do, man.
Right.
So I don't blame you for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're like, hey, listen, I'm trying to keep up with the times. I'm trying to keep up with the image. You know what I mean?
And
so
just thinking that was everything too. You know,
Right.
realizing now, like, that really doesn't matter. Like, if you look at people like Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, they'll wear the same outfit.
Driving a Prius.
That stuff don't really matter.
You know
like, what really matter is, like, you know, what you invested in, like, what's your mindset, like, whose lives you changing, are you becoming a better person, like, that's real things that, you know, got substance in the world. Like, a lot of times we think it's, you know, if I get the new hat, the new pair of Jordans, I'm gonna fit in, I'm gonna be cool, I'm gonna be accepted. But yeah, that'll probably get you into the party. But when you leave, they gonna say the same thing about you. You know what I'm saying?
So then, all right. So you had the kiosk, you had that. So how long did you do that for?
So I did the kiosk up into 2018. So that was from 16 to 18.
Okay.
So we did the kiosks. Like, I basically lived a rock star lifestyle, in and out of hotels. You know, we was in 8 different cities. It was fun, you know, something that I definitely dreamed of, you know, but like with everything that I'm doing, it kind of come to an end and it's time to transition.
Right.
So, and that basically came from, you know, just financial burden. Like, you know, at one point we just really didn't have enough money to maintain and operate 8 kiosks, pay 16 employees, as well as, you know, still be profitable enough for us to eat and win every day. So I kind of got out of that. Really didn't know what I wanted to do next. I tried some things like, I knew I was into vending machines now, so I got a couple vending machines operating in like 2018 now.
You mean like the chips and the soda? Yo, are those profitable?
Yeah, so it's...
Because I'll get me a vending machine.
Look, so I started off not with the big ones, right? Because like I said, I always kind of been like a little scarcity of cash, you know, because I was always just flipping and going back
Right, I
into the
got
next big thing.
I got
So my first kiosks was like, I think they was like $200. I said kiosks, I'm sorry. The vending machine is about $200 right from Amazon.
Right.
And these was like the little gumball machines.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, it's like if you find a location, that's part of that passive income that I talk about. So I found locations in the city, you know, putting the candy in there. The candy, it cost me maybe like $30 to fill up the machine. Go, you know the old commercial, set it and forget it.
Yeah,
The guy
that's
used to
my
sell
commercial.
that
Right, with the microwave with the chicken.
Right, with the, yeah.
Set it and forget it.
So literally, set that vending machine up. I forgot about it for about 3 months. The kids reminded me like, yo, you got to go check the vending machine. I think the candy is no more in there. I go and check it. It's $150 worth of quarters in there.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
so
Okay.
like I made my money back almost off the first one. So, and then, eventually growing and getting into bigger kiosks where it does cost more initially to start up, but you will make more. Now, instead of you making, $1.50 every 3 months, you may, with a bigger kiosk with chips and stuff, you sit back and make $500 a month. You got it in the right area. So, so just kind of going from the sneaker machine, that was a vending machine as well. That was the same thing that you see at the boardwalk where people have iPods and stuff in.
Yeah,
So I just
okay.
decided to put sneakers in there.
Okay.
So kind of kept with vending machines. Then I started kind of tackling like landscaping and stuff.
Okay.
Trying to figure that out. Like
I
just
see
cutting.
you. I see you cutting.
Yeah, just cutting.
Cutting grass and doing all kinds, pruning and
Yeah,
stuff.
look, mulch,
Damn.
all that stuff. So really just trying to figure it out. Like I said, like after seeing how I got messed over on jobs,
Right.
I just knew like, all right, I'm better off setting up my own resources and just
Right.
getting it from the muscle, like how I know. So I just did things that I was good at. Like I enjoyed putting my headphones on, some Drake, and just cutting grass for a few hours.
Right.
So,
And that's good money.
yeah, no,
That's good money.
And you have peace. You ain't really got to worry about dealing with
they
nobody.
sure
So
don't. And they hustling, like, where I'm at right now, I think they think, they kind of like price gouge me because they say, oh, okay, well, he's living here.
Right.
He's got money. No, I don't
I still
have
want
no
that
money.
$40
Right,
cut.
I want 25, but to about 40. Shit,
That's what inflation. Look,
Right, I'm like 40.
landscapers out here. That's like the average
Listen,
cost.
this dude told me, he said, no, it's going to cost $700 to rake my leaves. I said, nah,
Look, I
buddy,
think-
I'm doing that. Now, I should cancel that. $700 to rake some leaves?
Look, I was charging about. I think I was making about $300-$400 raking leaves up, like $5-$6 a bag. So
What neighborhood you was in?
this was right in the poorest county in New Jersey.
Oh, wow. No, listen.
This
They,
is
they
right
just
there.
they just didn't want to rake, and I get it, cause it took me 3 days to rake them.
Right.
I couldn't do it all in one day.
Mhm.
Y'all probably doing it all in one day.
Yeah. We
I'm in a
found
couple of
out.
hours, right?
Right.
I'm doing it on a course of 3-4 days.
And see, look, you paying for that convenience of it.
True, and that quick thing.
Yeah.
But see, the thing that I'll be honest with you, and now I'm gonna get into how I first discovered you, right? So I'm new to Prince Grove, never really even heard. I heard of Prince Grove, just because I a few times I've gone to Cowtown, and that was the name of the exit that you get off.
Yeah.
Of, you know what I'm saying? And Cowtown always had like good chicken wings and stuff. So I would go there sometimes, right? So I'm in the new to Prince Grove. I'm trying to figure out the community and stuff like that. And along comes your Facebook post, and it's you, and I'm like, wait a minute. I said, yo, I seen the commercial, right? I guess you were working at
The car dealership.
the
man.
car dealership.
Yeah.
No. You were
I was
in
in Glasgow.
Matte Black.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you had Mitsubishi's.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought about getting, I think we talked about that recently. I thought about getting an Outlander.
Mhm.
Right. And I didn't do it because I think I drove it and I floored it, and we was still like trying to get in first gear. I'm like,
CVT transmission.
yo, I don't want that. So that's why I brought a Camry, right? But long story short, I would be home and I see the commercial for Matte Black, right? And I see the dude on there, right? But then I go on Facebook and I see your commercial. And I'm like, yo, I like this dude. He says, I'm your car guy. You know what I'm saying? And you would hustle it.
Right.
And it was like, wow, yo, you know what? It was so innovative to me. Because you're like, yo, listen, even though I'm a salesman here, I'm a private contractor, or whatever it is that you are there, y'all doing I'm going to have my own commercial.
Right.
I'm your car guy.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody bought a car, he would be like interviewing them. And I just thought that was dope. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I actually friend requested you and we became friends one day. But I didn't know you or see you until you came into the main office. And I remember I looked at, because I don't forget faces. My mind is robotic like that. I'm a counselor. So I remember everything. Even things I may not want to remember. And I come in there and I'm like, wait a minute. And I said, ain't you the car guy? You said, yeah. I said,
I was
okay.
getting that everywhere.
I'm like, yo, ain't you the damn, you know what I'm saying? So from there it was like, wow, you know what? And then we, over time, I'm becoming to know you a little bit over time, but I'm seeing your work. And I'm like, wait a minute. What? He's making t-shirts? Oh, wow, okay, I gotta holler at him.
Yeah.
So then, you know what I'm saying? And so we linked up and did some things. So, I mean, if you think about what we just talked about, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about you tried out, you started out with the locker room, selling sneakers, right? And then you went to the kiosk, okay? And then you did the vending machine. Now I was just talking about some cars.
Yeah.
But we not done yet.
Nah.
So hold on, we're gonna go one more commercial and we're gonna finish up all the different things. And that's why I call him, listen, he's Mark Lee, he's a car guy, but he's a renaissance man. He does a little bit of everything well. That's that man right here. So give us a few shakes and we're gonna come right back.